Hey, golfers, some golf seasons are wrapping up and the holiday season is right around the corner. You know what that means? You guessed it. Awkward holiday work parties. Avoid the terrible Yankee swap gifts. Bring a pack of true classic polos. Show up late so you get the last pick and you can take your own gift home just like I do every single year. You get some of the softest polos on the market. Your coworkers think you are a team player, and you can save 25% off plus free shipping using the promo code OTS Golf at trueclassictees.com. Win, win, win. Stay vigilant at those holiday work parties, my friends. Enjoy the episode.
3 shots, 4 par, I just do 2, 1 putt, par 4, birdie, woohoo, new driver, info, replace, M2, par 5, fairway, what you fin do? Think I'll try to get on into, start right, good line, good view, hit Drew, shoot him, McGavin, 2 thumbs that's up.
Yeah, we just hop right in. Episode 107 on the Screws podcast. We got David Byrne, professional golfer, Canadian guy too. You've always been in Canada for the most part, eh, David?
Yes and no. I was in Canada till I was like 18, and then from like 18 to 29 or 30, I was in the States. No, I guess 28. I was Detroit for four and a half really, and then I went to Orlando for about the same, and then I was in LA for about 2.5, 3.
Nice. So we got a little background noise for this one, but we don't mind. We like it. You're at the Swing Factory in Windsor?
Yeah, I'm at Swing Factory in Windsor. Definitely on the clock, and my boss is okay with it.
All right. We'll give them a little plug. We'll tag them or something. We'll get some people.
Is it like a what is it exactly?
So we got in about a week here, we're gonna have 6 TrackMan indoor simulators.
Nice.
We're gonna do. So I'll be doing fittings here for Callaway. We also do like PXG, Cobra, Mura. Obviously, trying to kind of like hope to get another company kind of jumping in. And then we actually have. I don't know the code on this. It might be the only one in Ontario, at least public or Canada. We have a full swing putt view simulator. So the putting green that kind of gets moving. So it's pretty cool to like, instead of one going to buy a putter and everything falls into the hole, you put it on 2 degrees right to left, and now you start one understanding breaks. 2, if you're going to buy a putter, you can actually see if it's actually going in the hole, if it's not just the crappy greens.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good little spot right now. Yeah, it's awesome.
Bryce is a notorious. Bryce needs help. He needs work. Okay, I didn't want to say it, but Bryce,
you can just say it. Like everyone knows it.
Yeah,
like,
107 episodes deep. We've talked about Bryce's putting a little bit, and this is 40 minutes from home for you, Bryce. So you got no excuse, man. You got to go over, visit him.
I know a guy.
Never been fit for clubs in my life.
Yeah.
Oh my God! And you're doing a golf podcast, and at least you're honest and you tell people that. But that shouldn't happen.
No, but
I'm proud of it because I can still play, and I've just never been fit.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. Think about how much better you can play.
I know. I'd be so much better.
Well, it's like
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Man, we're telling a story the other day about we're playing at, you played at Port Hope at all?
I played at Port Hope once, yeah.
Okay, so we're like on the 5th hole. It's like kind of around the back, and like there's a long carry over this one bunker, and I like kind of right before Bryce, we're playing money games, so I like quickly told him like, hey, like the carry's this far or whatever, right?
Like I'm right over my ball too, like.
Yeah, and he's about to swing. He had like a 4-iron, and the carry's like 230 or something. So that was not a problem for Bryce. So Bryce hits it a very long way. So for a guy who's never been hit like or fit, he hits the ball a long, long way. So yeah. Add a few yards on if you go get fit, and I don't know, maybe a bit more control and on the putter too, right? But
who knows?
Where'd you go to school, David?
I went to the University of Detroit Mercy.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, I was over there. I loved it there. I think I kind of got like an under the table offer after my second year to go to Kent with Corey and Mac. Now, I decided not to because Detroit was so great to me and I had a great experience there.
Right.
Given the fact that like it's a Thursday night and I'm chatting with you guys at 8:00 and like Mackenzie and Corey are really good at golf. Maybe I made some interesting decisions, but I absolutely loved my time at Detroit. It was awesome.
Well, hey, we got to connect somehow with Corey. So Corey might be talking with us on probably not a Thursday night at 8:00, but maybe sometime.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
Definitely not a Thursday night. Definitely not a weekend because he's a cut machine. But like so this week's the RSM Classic. So my pick was actually Taylor Pendrith. So I was kind of going through a couple things and like I don't know if you ever played with Taylor. He's a member at Court out here. Yeah, but he hits it a long way. So one of the things I looked up is he's second right now in cuts made. He's got 12 straight cuts made. John Rahm's the only one with 13. So he's yeah, we got some
There's a
game.
reason why you got the nod from the internationals there, right? Like those guys know what's going on. They're good players. They're around the scene. Like they know what's going on.
Yeah, man. It's Canada's got some good golfers right now. Very good golfers.
Yeah.
Wait till I get fit.
Yeah, until you get fit. What got you into the game, David? Was there anything like, were you young? You know,
my uncle was a really, really, really good player. I want to say like, sorry. I want to say 12 or 13 time club champ at the place that I ended up kind of going into and playing out there. He was kind of like if when I was growing up, everyone would just say how, hey, your Uncle Matt, if you can be like him, you know, you'll be pretty good. And my mom was a professional figure skater, so she was a huge athlete. So she kind of put me in everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's because I was an only child or because my mom worked so much that, like, you know, I would get dropped off and then at 6 or 7 a.m. and I'd get picked up at 10 p.m. I didn't really have much of a choice, right? That was my babysitter. So, yeah, I just loved it. And then obviously I stopped, maybe not obviously, but I stopped growing since I'm so tall and big, and hockey wasn't probably going to cut it anymore. So I kind of pulled the George Costanza, got MVP of the last game I played, and went out on a high note. And
there you go.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah,
yeah. Bryce is that big hockey player. Bryce is a whole family of hockey players. So
right.
He's
I mean,
a little bit retired now.
I loved it. Yeah, I love being on the ice and I love playing. I just I was in for a quick death sentence if I was 18 playing against like other adults, you know. I was gonna get killed.
This has got to be like, I don't know what, 3 out of the last 4 weeks we're talking with like it's kind of the Canadian dream, right? Or the Canadian rule.
Yeah.
We like grow up playing hockey and then get into golf. And like for us, we're talking with pro golfers for the most part, like yourself, or we're talking with some brands and stuff. So like Ty Saloni told us the same story. Keaton Viet told us the same story last week. It's like
Keaton is a beauty. That guy is unreal, man.
You kind of grow out of hockey, and then you know, he's still really young too, right? So he's just kind of I think he's only like 23 or something coming up, right?
Yeah.
So we'll go back to it, but if we can kind of touch on where you went to school, like, so you come out of university, you come back to Canada, you're trying to get status at that point, you just turned pro, like, did you just decide right out of school to go pro?
So like, no. If you turn pro, you have to have money to do that.
Right.
Yeah. So I didn't. And like I had a pretty nice like college go of it, you know, won some events, freshman of the year, newcomer of the year, player of the year, all that, whatever stuff, academic All-American, whatever. But it wasn't like I was at the University of Florida winning golf tournaments, right? Yeah. So I came back and I got a job at the Gap, and I worked at the Gap. I absolutely begged for a job because I needed some money and to work, right? Just to kind of figure out what I was going to do. And then I applied to be on Big Break, got in, and they said, come to Florida for an audition. So the job that I just begged for, I went and said, I need 2 weeks off. And then I went and I got the 2 weeks off. They weren't very pleased. I came back and I said, I don't no longer need to necessarily work here. I was just wondering if you could let me go or like fire me. So I was let go, and then I moved to Florida 2 months after. And then from there, that's when I played down in Florida a bit. And then the next following year, I played mini tours, and then I went to Canadian Tour Q School in Burlington in 2012.
Okay.
And that's kind of when I started my little pro gig there.
So it's actually, I think you're the third Big Break contestant, I guess, that we've had on the show.
Yeah.
I believe Carrie Moffat had done the Big Break, and you know Andy Walker, he's the head coach at VCU.
Andy Walker, I knew him just kind of through some other people, saw him at events, but I've actually kind of followed Andy, Instagram, Facebook. He's a knowledgeable dude. He knows what's going on. I like the stuff that he posts. So I don't know him very well, but I like his golf game. And I kind of just like how he kind of goes about his business. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great human being.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
He's kind of, and he's been around a long time too, right? And like he was a
Right.
NCAA national champ at Pepperdine '97, and now he's with VCU. So, and
Yeah.
they've gone from like number, I don't know, 130 or something he was saying in the country to they're a top 50 school now. So,
Yeah.
like
Pretty cool.
the program's like shot up with not just with him there, but like his recruitment and style was pretty cool. Like he shared quite a bit of it with us, and
Yeah.
he was on Big Break Ireland, and I think he finished like second or third. He didn't win, but you're a winner.
Finished third, I think. My
Yeah.
buddy Mark Murphy won it, and then Julian Trudeau, who caddies now for, who does Jules caddy for? Trey Mullinax, I think he caddies for on tour now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And he's married to Mal, who he met on Big Break Ireland, and they have a kid now, a little girl as well.
That's sweet, man. So what was
That's
that
great.
experience? I remember watching it like back in the day. I don't remember like any of that. Like I can't remember any of the specific episodes, but I just remember like some of the contests and stuff. What was that like for you? Like I heard the whole like idea of going to, like Carrie was saying, some of the things that she was doing, like when you just show up and they kind of tell you need to be somewhere in like 2 or 3 minutes, and then you just like go fire a couple golf balls, and then that could be it, right? Like
yeah, so like we would get up at something like 6:45 or whatever, right? And like, okay, breakfast, out of the door at 7:15, on the range by 7:30. At 8 o'clock, we're leaving. And I was like, oh, okay, we get down there, and then at like 7:38, they'll be like, hey, if I were you guys, I'd want to work on 150 yards and in. So we're like, oh, okay. And then some days like, we want to hit some drivers today or whatever. So then my thing was like, so I had 12 guys right on my season, and I picked the number 11th ball up who's going to go. So that first day, we got out there at 8 o'clock. I'm the 11th guy to go. So at 1:15 p.m., I go, and I've been sitting there on the grass. I've been pulling grass. You know, like you're a child and you can't control your thoughts in your mind. Right. So I'm sitting here with Robert Floyd, literally pulling grass with our hands, like making a grass pile. Like no cell phones. Okay. You can't go and watch the other guys because it's supposed to be like that. What they do shouldn't have an effect on you.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there. So I think for me it was like 5 hours and 14 minutes or something crazy like that between when I was on the range to the next shot I hit.
All right, we made it through 9, and this glizzy is brought to you by our friends over at Manscaped, manscaped.com. You can go over, check out the Ultra Premium Collection or anything that you need to not suffer through the back 9 here. Using the promo code OTS Golf, you will get 20% off plus free shipping. And maybe you'll go low on the back. Thank you for supporting the episode. Thank you for supporting the pod. Manscaped.com, 20% off using the promo code OTS Golf. Free shipping right to your door. Enjoy the pod.
Yeah, Dave, were you a big fan of it, the Big Break as a kid, or kind of did you know a lot about it?
So I used to work for the Essex 73s, like a junior C hockey team, when I was like, from like 10 or 11 to like 15, 16, 17 years old. Yep. Actually, I think my first year, even in university, I came back and worked. And after it, on Tuesday nights, it would switch to Mondays, but on Tuesday nights, I would run home and I would sit in front of the TV and I would watch it. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. When I auditioned, they asked me if I've seen it before. And I said, do you want front to back winners, back to front? How do you want to do this? I've never missed an episode. I think the first air date was October 6th, 2003. And I just remember looking back at my mom and I was like, wow, I want to be on Big Break one day. And I, oh, cool. Yeah, sure. That'd be really nice. And then I went on Big Break one day. And then when I was there and I was on it, I was just like, wow, this is really cool the first couple of days. And then after a couple elimination challenges, I just was like, wow, I'm actually not going to lose. Like, I'm going to win this. And I remember I had a putt against Petey. It was the 14th hole in the celebrity course. It was uphill right to left, like 12 feet. Not easy under the conditions. And I just never had a chance to miss it. Like, there was never a thought that I was like, oh, I'm going to miss this putt. It never crossed my mind. And yeah, it was just, I want to somehow get that feeling back. So if anybody knows, that would be fantastic. But I was a huge fan of it, man. It was my favorite show growing up, right? So just to be on it was cool to like see how it works, to get a bag with my name on it.
Yeah.
Now it collects dust here at Swing Factory, but it was my favorite show. I loved it. I've watched every single season, all of it. I really enjoyed that. Yeah.
That was like the winning shot, rolling that putt.
Well, I don't even know if that was the winning shot, but it was like I was about 5 episodes left. We had a playback challenge, and I had this right to left putt. It was just over the bunker on this par 5, and I knew that if I missed it, the guy who was a foot inside of me was going to make it. And I just poured it in, and I knew that there was never God, what a great feeling. There was never a chance that I had in my mind that I was going to miss that putt. And there's a psychology thought out there and how to get to that place, but I don't know if I just wasn't ready to leave or I just was going to win. I knew I was going to win, and I knew the putt was going in the hole, and I knew I was going to be on the next show, and it's just something I've never really experienced again, and I really would love to. But yeah, it was just one of those weird weeks, weird things. Yeah.
No, I know that obviously it's on a much different scale, but even if you're playing a money game or whatever it is, and sometimes you just stand over a putt, you get down, you do your whatever your routine is, and you just see it, right? And you're like, okay,
it can be a 3-footer. Yeah. It can be a tough 3-footer. You're like, okay, I got this. This one breaks outside the hole, I got it. It can be a 25-footer, and you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna make this, and it happens once in a while, and it's so cool when that does happen.
Yeah. That's why, I remember having this one round a little while ago with a buddy of mine, Mike. Hats off to Mike. He's a professional poker player, and he's cashed 8 of 9 events so recently. So good for you, Mike, if you're listening to the pod. But I was having a round with him. I chipped in once or twice early, and I always am way too and Bryce can attest this. I'm way too glass half full on the course. I'm this can go in, or we can knock this shot in. Sometimes it goes in, right? So
right.
I ripped one OB or what I thought was OB, and it hit a tree, fell down. Long story short, I had 112 in, and I had said right before, I was oh, this would be a really cool hole out or something like that. And I holed out for a 2 when I thought I was about to make, a 5 or whatever. Right. So it's sometimes just speaking things into existence. And Bryce and I have mentioned that with a couple people on the pod where we're oh, I think your hole in one is coming. And they've messaged a couple days later, and Kevin Gordon got one. Zach got one, a couple people right after we talked about it. So I don't know. Sometimes it's when you believe it can happen, it can definitely happen, right? And
it's true. It's there's a fine line between positivity and unrealistic, right? It's what is the new trigger word, right? Oh, manifesting things, right?
Yeah.
If you put whatever astrology sign you are on your Instagram bio, and then you put hashtag manifesting life, right? I'm not quite there on some of those philosophies, but I'm a pretty self-deprecating, I'm not going to say negative, but realist. I'm a self-deprecating person. I just kind of how I function. I make fun of myself more than anyone. And I've been trying. I found that since in the last couple of years, when I've got back into playing some golf tournaments, I found that my stress after the round is a little bit lower. I'm not so worked up. And also it kind of comes probably with a little bit of age, right? You go through life and you're whatever. You hit enough golf shots that are great or terrible. It's not like you're not trying over a golf shot. Everyone wants to be the best. Everyone wants to make a birdie on every single hole, right? So just, I've tried to do a better job of being positive. Today, David, you're going to play well today. Hoping that transfers over for everything in my life. But there is something to be said for it, because people who seem to be super negative, I always hit the ball in the trees. They always hit the ball in the trees and they stay there.
Yeah.
They just live
For
there,
sure.
man. That's just how it is. And it's when it starts to, it's compounding errors too, right? When it starts to, when those wheels start to fall off, somebody just made an ace back there on the.
They were talking about it. Yeah. I didn't hear a lot of cheers, so I think we're okay.
You do a lot of instructing too, David, right? So a lot of teaching and out at the Swing Factory again. So if anybody's in Windsor, go over and check it out. Go over and see David.
Yeah.
But have you been doing that for a while now?
You know what? I'm not. Okay, I would say comfortably I've been doing this for about a year, and I was a guy who was kind of self-taught. So other than through one person, I'm pretty good in terms of a sponge and listening and loving golf, and I'm kind of on this quest to learn more, as everyone is in this information age. But yeah, you know what? I work with a prep school called A21 Prep Academy here in Windsor, and I get about 4, 5, 6 kids in the mornings, and I found I have I would say probably a bit more of a passion for that. When I see somebody that can kind of put some time in and work, have some sort of work ethic, it makes me super excited. I get as excited with them I'm a fairly excitable, outgoing person, and I get pretty excited with them as they go through it. And I've really found that I really enjoy teaching. Okay, I enjoy teaching people who can move their bodies a little bit easier, which generally means some people who are younger or athletes. Love athletes because things happen a little bit quicker. But I have a lot to learn. I know that, but I've found I was in a pro shop at a golf course for a summer, and that's not necessarily going to be for me. Those guys do a wonderful job and they work incredibly hard. I think I'm going to try to go kind of down this teaching route, a little selfishly as well, because it allows me to continue to play some events and kind of follow my passion a little bit as well. Only 15 years from the Champions Tour, so yeah, I think
That's my dream too, man. That's my dream
yeah,
too.
I'll see you at Houston,
Yeah,
dude.
I like it.
Yeah, but I think that's a great mindset. I mean, you say selfishly, but hey, like everyone's got to do what they want, you know. I mean,
You look like
ultimately,
a guy like Rob Lebrit, I think that guy kind of inspires a lot of the players who were always decent, but just never quite got there.
Steve Alker, man. Steve Alker right now.
Steve Alker.
Yeah,
oh my God, another guy. I love that Champions Tour now. I love watching those guys.
That's my dream. Like, well, obviously he had a lot more successful golf career than I did, but like, that's it. Kind of shows that like you can be a late bloomer, right? Like it's not all the guys that were just like dominant top players in the world. Like I remember like hearing stats about like I don't even know if he's been inside the top 100 before, and like he's just I don't know. It's solid to see him
awesome.
compete, right?
I know
like,
it is great. But yeah, so kind of to wrap up your question there, I kind of ventured down this teaching road, and I'm starting. I do a little bit of online stuff with Garson Putting Grips now. I do their putting series with them, and then we're gonna do a 6-part intro to putting kind of basics series on YouTube. I've started kind of doing that. I'm trying to get my hands in as many things kind of as possible in the golfing world. It's clearly something I'm going to be involved with my whole life. I have no ability to not talk about it and not love it. And
definitely, it shows, man.
Joy.
Yeah. It is like a deep passion here. I can feel it, man. Like, that was one of the things we wanted to ask you a little bit about was content creation, because I noticed that you had been doing some work with Garson, and we're like they're obviously extremely busy right now, but we're supposed to have Bernard. Is it Bernard?
Bernard, yeah.
Yeah, so Bernard, he's going to jump on with us sometime in the future. Tony Finau wins every other week right now, so he's rolling a Garson.
Another big break guy as well.
Yeah, our girl Brooke Henderson's rolling a Garson. So lots of people are kind of finding those grips. So I noticed that you had done like a putting series with them and a couple other things. Is that something that that you're looking to want to develop as well, and kind of get your feet in on some content creation?
The short answer is yes. Now, the whole Garson thing happened because there's a young gentleman, another teaching pro in our area, Ryan Robillard. He's probably been, this might piss a couple of people off, but I don't really care. He's been the one guy in our area who's really kind of taken initiative to really learn the new stuff, okay? He's into the TrackMan stuff. He's got pressure plates. He's going to the T-Talk live on PGA of Canada. If I were a junior golfer, when I was here a junior, I didn't necessarily have a lesson or anything. I couldn't really afford it, but I felt like I was shooting some good scores, and I had that kind of ignorant mindset. But Ryan got involved with Garson and Super Speed Golf, and he came to me with, "Hey, do you want to do this Garson thing?" And I was like, "Yes, I would love to." Now, I feel very strongly that I'm going to get into the content creation of this. I have to buy the microphone and get all that stuff, but it's different and it's weird now. I've seen a lot of stuff out there. I'm not saying my stuff would be right, wrong, or I'm going to say some stuff that that's incorrect, and I get that, right? There's a million ways to swing a golf club, but I'm really tired of watching stuff online. Like, okay, so step one, when you grab the golf club, you'll notice, like, can we make this exciting?
Yeah, this is like the Golf Channel at 11 p.m. right now. You're like, you're flipping on, trying to catch some highlights, and it's I know what you mean.
It's awful. And now look, obviously, I talk probably too fast, and I'm all over the place, and I haven't finished a proper thought in years. But I feel, and if my friends who don't necessarily know golf, they're really trying to push me to do this, because they're like, I just think that you would captivate an audience. you're kind of funny. You throw in a couple one-liners here and there, and I think that you could do it. So I would say my goal for 2023, that's going to probably be one of my biggest things to make this social media thing. It's a little bit weird to do. Okay, it's a little bit. It's tough talking to a camera and like taking yourself seriously.
Different. Yeah, for sure.
You know,
We're,
I have a tough time kind of. I wouldn't say I'd have a tough time taking myself seriously sometimes.
Yeah.
Pretty easygoing, kind of jovial. And I've like even thinking right now, picturing myself in front of it, like, yeah, like just it just takes it'll take a little bit, like kind of swallow your pride or whatever the weirdness is and just kind of do it. But it's definitely going to be something I'm going to try to go into down the road. Yeah, definitely.
Well, man, like 103-4 episodes ago, Bryce and I are pretty weird on here too. Like if we went back and watched some of those old episodes, we'd probably cringe a little bit, Bryce.
Yeah, but I feel like that's what people like. People like to see you be weird and funny and be yourself. Like people don't want to see you be a robot, you know? Like
well, we've met like so many people too, and it just like kind of grows and grows and grows, and we get more comfortable with it. We get like, you know, it just like feels a lot easier. So just stick with it, man. I think you've got a pretty infectious personality, and like there's I don't know, maybe 5 people on the planet that have finished their thoughts during a golf swing and actually like execute that. So I think man, it's like there's always
and also the golf space such a good space. I mean, everyone's great. There's rarely any guys that are. I'm not going to finish that sentence, but
yes, I understand.
But it's rare that you'll find a bad person on the golf course or in the golf community. So I mean, if you want to be a content creator and you're a little nervous about it, I mean, the golf community is the best place to start.
It is, man. And I always think too, like I've been really, really excruciatingly fortunate in the course of my life in terms of golf. And I think that, you know, when I caddied out at Belair Country Club out in LA, I got to meet some pretty nice people who, you know, I just think once, if I can grow it a little, I think that once these people the people I've kind of crossed paths with, I just think it can kind of from there kind of grow up a bit, right? But we'll see how it goes. I have a few things floating around on my Instagram that I did like a year or 2 ago, and I was like calling them what the hell is tip tops or high tip tops or high top tips or whatever. I don't know what I was calling, or DB's hot takes or something stupid, but I got to come up with something catchy, something funny. But it's definitely going to happen. I think 2023. Yeah.
Yeah. If anybody's got some submissions, we'll I don't know, maybe we'll find one through the pod. There's a lot of creative people always messaging us. Belair Country Club, is that I saw a couple pretty cool photos. Now I'm ripping a really quick edit on this one, so I probably won't drop them over top here, but you can picture David with Steph Curry or David with Ricky Fowler. So can you tell us a little bit about these photos? Are they happening out there?
So look, again on the Extremely Lucky, I won a Pro-Am in the Hamptons that my buddy named Hoyt McGarity invited me to. He owns, he's kind of one of the owners of 8 AM Golf, who does Mira and Chusbeck and all that stuff. And he had this tournament in the Hamptons, nice spot, and went there and won it. And I was there, and I was the first guy in the little dinner thing, and I had some little short Italian dude I've never seen anyone dressed better. And he said, look at that guy. That guy shot 69, 70 or 70, 71. That's crazy because he was howling. I was like, that guy's me. And he's like, come on. So we ended up having a couple of drinks. He said, have you heard of a company called G4? I said, they're my favorite gloves. He's like, no way, that's my company. And I was like, no way. So when I went out to LA, I was on the putting green, and Massimo said, hey, you want to carry my bag? Sure, of course. Getting a loop out of private, that's really great.
Yeah.
And then my eyes were opened a little bit. I knew kind of Ricky from before in Orlando, and we kind of crossed paths here and there, but got to kind of loop with Gretz in the same group. Justin Verlander was pretty often on like the kind of Friday, Sunday thing. He would come there in the off season. Marty Fish was probably one of the guys I enjoyed caddying for the most, just because he had such a good move and he was a tennis player. And,
yeah.
He's really solid. I went back to the back range a couple of times, picking up some members, definitely not giving them lessons. And I think Pete Sampras was back there hitting some balls a good bit. And then like Moss's wife was Aunt Becky from Full House, Lori Laughlin there. So I just happened to, for whatever reason, kind of be into that scene. And then I'm not the most, I'm not overly shy, and I feel like I can ask Steph Curry for, hey man, can I, if I grab a photo with you, and try not to be a clown about this. Caddy for Bubba when he was with G4 out at Belair as well, and kind of.
That'd be pretty cool, man. That would be a lot of fun.
I don't know how many people listening would even know the 17th hole at Belair, but if you get up there, it's a dogleg right, and Sunset is down below, and UCLA is across the road. Okay, and so you get up there and you have to work for a lefty, a pretty good draw in there. You get it going. Okay, he gets up there, takes it over the tee box, like the one he's standing on, pretty much, and hits it over Sunset, and comes back. I actually have a video somewhere on my phone, but we weren't supposed to show it or share it, but. We're supposed to cut. It came all the way back, and it ended up just in the right hand rough, and it was like it bent 85 yards, man. It went over Sunset.
Like, he cut it to the dog leg right instead of drawing it
over Sunset.
That's funny.
That's like you'd have to like your dispersion on that. Like you'd have to know that you're hitting that shot.
Dude,
like
like if he just slightly closed that face down, like you're hearing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh man, locking up LA traffic. Damn, that would be
Yeah.
I feel like Bubba.
I want to go.
No, go ahead, Bryce. Bubba, I was just saying, Bubba would be like somebody that'd be like you couldn't caddy for Bubba. Like,
I did it.
You could carry his bag. Like
I carried Bubba's bag, and on the 1, 2, 3 on the 5th hole is a par 3. It looks downhill, plays uphill like 161 or something. Okay. So I'm like, now this time I played 3 holes. I've seen him hit some shots. I was like, 161. I was like, pitching wedge? Yeah. And he's like, I'm just going to chip a 7. I'm like, oh, okay, for sure. Cool. So we get up on 9.
Makes sense.
9 is the 9th hole. It works its way uphill like 15 yards. It's like 450 from the back. So it's a solid 4, you know? He gets up there, pumps the drive. He has 151. We say it's uphill 9, and it's a back pin. Truly got like 164. I go, chip 7. He goes, I'll just give me the wedge there. Okay, hits it 3 feet, and I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I have no, like, what am I going to say to this guy? Okay, I got
just
no idea.
like it's got to be just like a bit of feel too, right? It's like,
I was like, here you go. I ended up like usually, you know, if you're a decent player, you can be like, okay, this guy hits it here. Try this, do this, whatever. It takes 3 holes, you get it. Play 18 holes with the guy, or caddy 18 holes with the guy. I think on the 14th hole, I was like 4 iron. He's like, yeah. I was like, oh my god, okay, cool, great, yeah.
Yeah, you get to every shot, you're just kind of like, hey, what do you want?
Yeah,
you're like putter.
Exactly,
you're on the green, like questioning if he's gonna hit a putter or not. But yeah. You roll one here, or I don't know. Yeah.
No, I was very lucky. I got to even be out at caddying at Belair, and then Massimo was really was a phenomenal person to me. And then kind of as I was leaving, I ran into some personal issues. And, you know, I kind of credit Moss for kind of, I don't want to say saving my life or anything like that, but just kind of knocking some sense into me and kind of saying the right things to me and getting me on track a little.
Man, I wish I had the high crown G4 visor. I got out of my truck. I was actually moving it when I put my son's car seat in. I was moving it around a little bit. I still have it out there. I should have brought it on for the pod, but
I'm a huge like we have G4 here at Swing Factory, and like it's tough to kind of come across in Canada, and it's usually at some higher end places. But I'm proud that we have it here. It's really nice to have. The guy did so much for me, so. He was a big reason as to why I have a lot of cool stories.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brycer.
Yeah, I'd just like to kind of get into one of my favorite subjects of the pod, especially when we get some players on.
Here we go.
What's in the bag?
Okay.
I'm a huge gear guy. I know a lot about it. I like to research a lot about it. Okay. I can't afford most of it, but I'd like to. But just kind of go through your bag. We do kind of just driver to putter, putter to driver, whatever you want to do. Shaft,
okay. I can do that. So they're kind of we're in transition. Okay. Yeah. So I have a Callaway Epic 9-degree driver turn down 1. Other than that, I won't change it because I hate adjustable drive. I think they're stupid. But I get the point of them. They're good for the everyday golf or whatever.
This is the original Epic?
No, that one I caved that face. Thank you very much. About a year and a half ago because I had it for about 5. And I got the Epic Speed, the very first Epic Speed. Yeah. Now, I think I'm gonna what I'm hearing from my friends at Callaway that this new driver is a little special. So I'm thinking I'm probably gonna be getting into that. 3-wood, I have the regular Callaway Epic 3-wood. Again, blacked out because I don't like the colors and stuff. Now I have a Callaway Apex 16 Pro Hybrid. It's a 20 degree, but it's when I was working for Callaway doing their fittings, and that club probably won't be coming out of the bag anytime soon. Irons, I have the 2016 Apexes. They're 3/4 of an inch short, 3 flat, 2 flat, 3 flat, and I play the Nippon mode as 120Ss, but I'm switching to the TCBs with the MMT 105Ss because it lowers my launch and helps my spin. Okay. And then in the wedges, again, on my the bottom half of the bag is kind of, again, on my good luck and fortune. After a big break, I got to the PGA Tour event in New Orleans, and I spent a lot of time with Bob Vokey and Aaron Dill. Aaron's kind of, the guy who does the stamping and
the
gets
wizard,
things done there, right? So for whatever reason, Aaron, I would consider Aaron a friend now. Him and Vokey FaceTimed me in like 2017 at the Sony, just seeing how I was doing. That I moved back to Canada. I talked to Aaron actually the other day. I think it was his birthday the other day. And he gives me the raw wedges, the 50, the Venture 51, 56, and the 60, the SM9 raws. Actually, I think I have the 8s. Whatever. And then happened to caddy for Scotty Cameron, and asked him for a putter when I moved back home. Just wanting a price, and then I've never used a blade putter, so I have a Scotty Cameron Circle T Newport that he sent me with about 4 nice head covers to go with that. So that's my bag right now, and it is kind of slowly changing, but the wedges will be there. I'm pretty open to putters, and it feels like the last week indoors has got me to go back to my my Rife Barbados Island Series putter. So we'll see how it goes with when I start testing this stuff. But that's the bag for now. And right now, I think it's going to change in like January or February. But for right now, that's what it's at.
Nice. So you guys have the option to check out a lot of the data when you're. Do you use like a lot of the putting data in your game, or do you just kind of roll it by feel, or?
I hit up on my putts.
Okay.
I make sure that now I've always kind of done that because I used to play my ball off of almost ahead of my front foot, and I would kind of Jack Nicklaus it and do the little piston move there. But as I start hitting more greens, I need to release my putter a bit, so I've kind of changed my stroke, but a little bit as years have gone on. But I look at the numbers when I need to look at the numbers.
Okay.
I didn't grow up with a ton of ability to kind of learn and get all this stuff, as a lot of guys our age really probably didn't, right? But I kind of have a pretty simplistic way of thinking or swinging the golf club. Even though I've started to teach it, I still have my 2 swing thoughts. And I just, with the putting, like we have that the putt view thing, right? So yeah. I what I like about it is that I've started using Tour Read, like that app that Ralph Bauer has, that like some of the guys, Corey and Mac,
yep.
Adam, they're all using it, right? So for teaching someone, right, and explaining like, okay, we have a 12-footer on a 10 stimp at 3% break. Let's look at this, and now, okay, it's 8 inches outside, right, or whatever the case may be. Okay, I think it's really great for learning the importance of how much break it has and how speed and line, is really dictated. Mm-hmm. The only thing I list, like, I'll put a track band behind when I putt, and I'll make sure my path is okay. I get a little pushy, and I want to make sure I hit up on my putts. And other than that, I watch the ball roll end over end, and that for me, that's it. And that's kind of from my putting. I've always been I've been a really good short putter inside of 5 feet probably my whole life, and I guess I just kind of had that set up or whatever. I line up the ball well, but yeah, I try not to get overindulged in it, especially with the 30 options on TrackMan. Spin axes and these things that are very, very great for good players, but something that if I'm hitting it really well and my path is good and my spin axis is is maybe a little bit off for me. I'm not rerouting my entire golf swing and making this happen. I'm just kind of going through my process, you know?
Yeah, I guess the reason why I asked that with like when you're rolling is because like, you know, through our conversation we've learned like you're a good putter, and it's just one of those things where I feel like it's still part of the game where there is a lot of feel aspect that goes into it. Like if we're gonna add feel into like, you know, hitting your driver off the tee, like a lot of things can go wrong pretty quickly.
Correct.
But you know, I know you mentioned like the putt view and the Ralph Bauer app and stuff like that. And I know Mac Hughes is using it. And like last week, I remember Bob Weeks he gave a stat on Monday on Golf Talk Canada that Mac Hughes was like 6 strokes above the field in putting at the Houston Open, which is insane, right? So
it's insane. Yeah.
like obviously he's like a top 3 putter on tour, but it's kind of cool to be able to see the guys in this area, like, you know,
it is. And like I get weird when I kind of like when I teach putting, right? Like a lot of old school stuff has really been tossed out the window here. Okay. Like, you know, you do this, set up square. Now, obviously that's pretty much your basic set up square, but there's strokes and grips. And like, you know, some people feel like, you know, they get that 2-to-1 stroke and you kind of stop at, you know, your front foot, you know, and go a little bit further back. Some guys feel like they throw the ball down the line to see it. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I think one of the things I would say that I probably do well, you know, I have a lot to work on, but when I get people in numbers and I know that they're sitting here like, oh, well, that is 1.4 here and there. Okay. I'm thinking, what does that feel to you? Does your right arm go out? Does your shoulder come back? And I don't care if you say your big toe hurts. I don't care. Okay. But these numbers are here to give us a feel that we can translate onto the golf course, right? We don't want to be sitting here and being a robot and being on the golf course like, oh, well, that was 2.8 across. Yeah. And like, what are we doing here? Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say I try to use the numbers and bring as much feel as it to translate in, you know, as possible.
Well, because eventually too, like your students are just going to break down. Like if it's something that's completely uncomfortable over the course of 18 holes, they're just going to break down, right? Unless like we don't have the option to have 300 repetitions a day or more, right? You know, upwards of like 1,000 some people need. But you know, if you're still with us, we're in conversation with Canadian pro golfer David Byrne. David Byrne Golf, I think it is, over on Instagram, right? So we'll link that below. Anybody wants to kind of catch it up, David Byrne Golf, and then we'll if you want to kind of check out his like career, kind of what he's done, what he's gonna be doing, you can go click the Instagram link below. Do we have any golf coming up, David? We actually haven't met, but I did see you at the Osprey event 2 seasons ago. I was walking to the first tee and you were like coming up. So I've seen you in person, but we haven't met in person yet, but we definitely will one day in Windsor. But any more golf for you in your future you're trying to before that Champions Tour?
So again, the goal this year, right? I kind of am just trying to work as much as possible without kind of like killing myself. The hope is to kind of build a bit of a base, a bit of a teaching base. I'm going to, again, try to get in as I try to dip into the creative content a bit more. I'm going to try to do some online stuff lesson wise. Again, I would say the goal for next year, I really didn't play a lot of events this past year. I played a Pro-Am in one, and I played TPT event at Roseland here, and I think I shot like 68, 70 and finished 7th or whatever it was. But next year I kind of want to play some TPT events. I want to play the CPT, you know, maybe the Canadian Open qualifier, US, like you know, the kind of the stuff. Now, I'm not sitting here and saying if I have a good year, you're going to see me at Q School again and blah blah blah. But just kind of going to a golf course and doing my thing for a day or two. You know, I feel like my mindset. I feel like honestly, I can still I can definitely compete. With, you know, again, maybe that's like the positive golfer side in me. But I've never swung the golf club better, and I've never played better in my life than the last year or so. And I'm more comfortable in my own skin, so I want to continue to play. And just for my overall happiness, you know, I didn't play a lot of golf this summer. I just really worked, and I played some casual rounds, not a lot of competitive stuff. And I just think that I'm happier when I'm playing a few more events.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
In the summer, sure. In the winter, lots of lessons, a lot of work. Get back into the gym. Try to find a way to hit the ball further, because you know, hitting it 280 means you hit it nowhere now. So gotta kind of sort all that stuff out. But as this teaching game's kind of given me this like second little hope or whatever for professional golf, and still the ability to play when I can. Yeah.
I like it, man. So Brycer's not far away. Bryce hits it like 330 in the air, so he can come down there. You can get him a putting lesson, and Bryce will just show you how to lag something like way down the middle of the fairway because he hits
people helping people. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, he crushes it like straight as an arrow too. I love it. So it's
amazing.
It's just 100 yards in. We gotta get some work on. We gotta work on that, Bryce, and then we'll have a player.
I mean, my wedges haven't been terrible this past year. It's just my putting.
Bryce, what's your cap at, dude? Like, what's your handicap floating around?
Let me look.
Probably like a 3 or a 4, I guess. Brycer's younger brother's like a +4 or 5 now. He's solid, really solid. So
really,
yeah, he.
What do you play to, Mac?
Oh,
like, what do you?
Depends, man. I'm deep into a money game situation now. So
I just use 18 birdies on my phone, so it's unofficial, but 4.8. So
okay.
Yeah,
I gotta start working with those guys. Yeah.
I can be a 3 or 30 cap, so I don't give too much up. It's
gotcha.
Yeah. I try to keep it. I got guys listening to this pod right now that I can't give a true cap to. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's okay, bro. We're all still listening.
Yeah, I got anywhere from a 74 to a 86, pretty much.
Yeah,
my game.
I think
that's
about
huge, but I don't play enough honestly anymore to really. I just get out when I can. So.
I get way too creative out there for my skill set, so that's something that.
I have a guy I give. He's a tennis pro. I give lessons to him. He came in and I was like, pretty good move. He's like, I'm working on this cut. I'm working on this draw, and I was like, okay, hit it straight.
Yeah.
I was like, you don't have to. You can just play golf. You don't have to like do something showy here.
I play a straight game as long as I don't miss it. I don't put in nothing.
So
if anything, I'll let it fall out of the sky to the right as a righty. So like I'll play like a little cut, just let it fall out.
Dude. Same.
I cannot. You won't see me draw the ball for the life of me. Well, rarely.
Yeah.
If I draw the ball, I know that my swing, there's something going on that like I need to fix for me. The way I try to build it. Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, man, that's a lefty thing. We're all a little bit weird over here on this side of the tee block, but it's okay. It's okay. I like it. It keeps things interesting, and the course I play at too. If you walked around Port Hope one time, you know it can beat you up pretty good. If you're hitting it well, like I think
get a little breezy out there as well. And
yeah, I got like a 73 there, and I got a 93 probably this year. So it's like it'll beat you up that course. So and the greens are like. It's like the 5th oldest course in Canada. The greens are nasty. They're so old and like
they move.
Yeah, it's just it's wild. I think the TPT event, there's one guy under par in a 2-day event there.
Yeah.
So it's
that's right.
When they get those things rolling in the middle of the summer, it's lightning.
Yeah.
It's lightning out there.
Yeah, they are.
But David, we appreciate this, man. Your content's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to checking it out, man. I really appreciate you. You're a fun guest to have on, and sounds like that place is a good place over there at Swing Factory in Windsor.
It's
so
awesome.
If you're out in that area,
it's the best we got here. It's the best we got in Windsor. It's nice. We finally got something that's really people can get better now in Windsor.
Yeah, Bryce and I are gonna have to pop by and check it out for sure because it's
it's not that far from me. So.
Yeah. I'll make a drive, come check it out. I'll be in a point where I'm I got to play some golf in the winter, so I'll definitely come out and check it out. But hopefully in the summer or something, we can have you back on. This was great, man. Getting a little updates.
Of course. Whenever you guys need, guys. Yeah. That's awesome.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Take care. All the best. Yeah. And we'll chat soon. Take care.
He's out in my ball in the course, so I tee up. I lose the ball and I re-up. I miss a fairway, I probably end up in the ocean or maybe the beach. And I'm on a par 5 and I'm finna go reach it. Second was blind, I ain't see it. Feel like it might be an albatross, worst case scenario.